What would you get if you combined the playmaking ability of Patrick Mahomes, the absurd arm arrogance of Jordan Love, and the confidence, pocket presence, and under pressure poise of Joe Burrow? A perfect quarterback prospect, capable of excelling from inside the pocket and a transcendent creator when a play breaks down. Enter the soon-to-be #1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Cam Ward. What's up, everyone? Justin Graver here for the Music City Audible channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and drop a comment below. You've probably heard the buzz around Cam Ward by now, the Miami Hurricanes quarterback who is cementing himself as the top QB prospect and likely #1 overall pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. This guy's journey from a zero-star recruit with only one scholarship offer coming out of high school at Incarnate Word to Washington State for 2 years to Miami last season is a wild journey. And now he's being pegged as a potential top pick. But here's the big question. How does he compare to some of the biggest QB prospects we've seen in recent years? Today, we're comparing Cam Ward to the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Jordan Love, 3 quarterbacks who have taken the NFL by storm, each in their own ways. We'll look at their college profiles, play styles, how Ward stacks up against these 3, and most importantly, what he could bring to the pros. Now, is it a bit hyperbolic to say that Cam Ward could reach the heights of probably the most talented quarterback to ever play the game in Patrick Mahomes? Yes, it is a bit of a stretch, but let's dive deeper into the comparison to all 3 of these guys to see why I do think there's some validity to it. But first, a reminder, the Music City Audible is presented by Sinkers Beverages, the premier wine, spirits, and beer store in East Nashville. Check out their website linked in the video description to join the in crowd for exclusive perks. All right, before we get into the comparisons here, let's just set the stage with Cam Ward. He's coming off a stellar 10-win season in 2024 at Miami, where he threw for over 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, and just 7 picks. Ward is now the heavy favorite to be picked first overall in April after leading the Hurricanes to a 10-win season. He'll turn 23 years old in May with 50 college starts under his belt, tons of experience. Scouts love his arm talent, his improvisational skills, and that gunslinger mentality. But there's some chatter about his inconsistent footwork, at times sloppy decision-making, and a tendency to chase the big play over the safe one. Sound familiar? That's why we're comparing him to Mahomes, Love, and yes, to some degree, Joe Burrow, each of whom had their own strengths and question marks coming out of college. So let's start with the guy who I think his play style is the most similar to, and that's Jordan Love. Jordan Love was taken 26th overall by the Packers in 2020 at a Utah State, and his college career was a roller coaster. His junior year in 2018 was an insane season, over 3,500 yards, 32 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions, but he regressed mightily in 2019 with just 20 touchdowns compared to 17 interceptions after losing a lot of his supporting cast. Sounds like a mixed bag, right? That's where Ward comes in. See, both guys have swagger and confidence, and they're not afraid to sling it into tight windows from crazy arm angles, out of the pocket, out of structure. Look, Ward's 2024 tape shows some turnover-worthy plays. They remind me a lot of Jordan Love's risk-taking when he was at Utah State. Love was pretty much a big project coming out of college. A great arm, decent mobility, but inconsistent accuracy, sometimes even scattershot accuracy, and really inconsistent decision-making. Ward has similar traits. His footwork can get messy. He sometimes occasionally predetermines his reads pre-snap, which can lead to head-scratching throws. He also throws the ball into coverage sometimes when he's trying to make a play outside the pocket. It's not as often as people make it out to be, but it does happen at times. Here's the kicker, though, when comparing Love to Ward. Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. When he finally got his shot to play in 2023, he turned into a high-level starter. He signed a massive contract to be Green Bay's franchise quarterback. Now, Ward has way more experience, 50 college starts to Jordan Love's 32. So I don't think he's going to need as much time to adjust. I don't think Cam Ward needs to sit at all, especially if a team like the Titans takes him first overall. They could get a Jordan Love-like payoff with the right coaching and development. Next up, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Where do you even begin comparing anyone to Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes was drafted 10th overall by the Chiefs back in 2017. He was a Texas Tech phenom, still a Texas Tech legend to this day for obvious reasons. In his final college season, he threw for over 5,000 yards and 41 touchdowns. He also had 10 picks, and he played in an air raid system that left a lot of scouts wondering if he would be able to translate his skills to the NFL. Now, like Cam Ward, Patrick Mahomes was an electric playmaker in college. Now, Mahomes' arm strength was off the charts. He definitely has a bigger arm than Cam Ward. Cam Ward has a big arm, a strong arm, but not on the same level as Patrick Mahomes. However, Mahomes had an uncanny ability to extend plays. Again, sound familiar? Cam Ward's pocket mobility and knack for keeping his eyes downfield while scrambling have earned him some of these Mahomes comparisons already. But here's the thing, Mahomes was a raw talent. His footwork was sloppy at times, and he loved the home run ball, sometimes too much. Cam Ward is the same way. Ward often skips the check down to hunt for the deep shot, just like Mahomes did. Now, there are plenty of examples on Cam Ward's tape of him taking that check down, taking what the defense gives him, but Cam Ward does tend to hunt for the big play a little too often. And like Cam Ward, Mahomes can throw from any arm angle with a freakish ability to make throws that no one else can. Cam Ward, again, not quite on that same level as Patrick Mahomes, but his release is lightning quick and can be unorthodox depending on the pass rush in front of him. Think of it like a shortstop whipping it across the diamond. It's not quite Mahomes level, but still, if Ward lands with a coach, maybe Brian Callahan, who can refine his mechanics like Andy Reid did for Mahomes, Cameron Ward's ceiling is sky high. Now, as I said before, I definitely do not feel comfortable comparing any prospect, not even Cam Ward, to a player of Patrick Mahomes' caliber. But if we're just talking about them as prospects entering the NFL draft, it's not as crazy as it sounds. If you look back at the consensus big boards of 2017, Patrick Mahomes was ranked as the 19th best player in his draft class. Jordan Love was ranked as the 23rd best player in his draft class. From the same source, as of the time of this recording, Cam Ward is first. Now, granted, the 2025 draft is not viewed on the same level as that 2017 class with Patrick Mahomes, but if we're strictly talking about them as prospects, Cam Ward is actually on the same level, if not even a little step above where Patrick Mahomes was viewed. He is certainly head and shoulders viewed as a better prospect than what Jordan Love was looked at as at the time. And I mean, some projected Jordan Love would miss the first round entirely, whereas Cam Ward is almost a lock at this point to be the number one pick in the draft. Okay, finally, let's talk about Joe Burrow. 2020 number one overall pick by the Bengals after his 2019 season at LSU was, I would call it the gold standard. It's considered by many people to be the greatest single season by a quarterback in college football history. Over 5,600 yards, 60 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions, and of course, capped it all off with a national championship. An unreal season for Joe Burrow. Obviously, Cam Ward's numbers do not touch that. But hear me out, because these guys do share some traits, especially on the mental side. Both guys have a confidence and a swagger about them that borders on arrogance.
Who you think close to a ring out of Tennessee, Cleveland, and New York? Whichever one draft Cam Ward.
Not quite to arrogance, but borders on it. They both have cool-headedness under pressure and an ability to maneuver the pocket against the pass rush. I mean, Joe Burrow was a pocket surgeon, precise, poised, and deadly accurate. This is where the comparison starts to fall apart a little bit because Ward is not quite as polished, but he has shown great poise in big moments at Miami, especially in, say, the comeback against Cal in 2024. Now, both Burrow and Ward spent 5 seasons in college at multiple schools learning multiple offenses. Like Ward at Miami, Burrow wasn't a big scrambler, but he could move when he had to. And Ward may actually be a little more mobile than Burrow. Obviously, he's not Lamar Jackson, he's not Jaden Daniels, but he can pick up first downs with his legs. There is a big gap, though, in this comparison, and that's consistency. Burrow's accuracy was elite, over 76% completion in 2019 despite attacking downfield frequently. Ward's flashes of brilliance come with inconsistency. Ward needs to take the good play more routinely instead of frequently chasing the great play. Burrow was able to master that balance in college, although I will say it certainly helped that he was throwing to arguably the two best receivers in the NFL today, not the two best receivers in college. Right now, these two guys are arguably the two best receivers in the NFL, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. That's who Joe Burrow was throwing to in college, against college defensive backs. I'm not going to say that explains the major gap in performance and production, but it certainly helped Burrow's case. I will say if Ward can tighten up his footwork, which would lead to more consistent ball placement, and cut out some of the poor decision-making that plagues him at times, he could follow a Burrow-like path as a franchise quarterback. So what is it that ties all these comparisons together? Let's break it down. Ward's strengths are his arm talent, just like Jordan Love, his improvisational magic, just like Patrick Mahomes, his ability to anticipate throws, pick teams apart from the pocket, and stand poised in that pocket, similar in many ways to Joe Burrow. Ward can make every throw from anywhere on the field, he can escape pressure, and he has seen a ton of defensive looks across his 50 starts. It's a mix of Mahomes' playmaking, again, Love's arm arrogance and ability to throw off platform, and Burrow's poise. Now, Ward's weaknesses: sloppy footwork, at times leading to inconsistent accuracy, and that gunslinger itch that sometimes gets him in trouble. He's got Mahomes' love for the big play, Love's risky streak, and while he's a step behind Burrow's precision, he shares Burrow's poise and confident mindset, as well as that ability to maneuver pressure in the pocket. Here is a stat for you to chew on. Ward's 74% completion rate in 2024 was solid, but his turnover-worthy play rate and those inconsistencies I mentioned show he is still raw. Mahomes had 10 picks in his last college year. Love had 17. Burrow had just 6. Ward, somewhere in the middle. He's not as reckless as Jordan Love was. He's not as clean as Joe Burrow. And the NFL is all about coaching up these traits. Ward definitely has the tools to grow. So all right, projection time. Just how good can Cam Ward be at the next level? Look, in my opinion, his ceiling screams Mahomes light. A dynamic playmaker who can win games off script, not quite as big of an arm as Patrick Mahomes, but good enough to make every throw that he'll need to make in the NFL. While his floor, think Jordan Love pre-2023, talented, unpolished, needing some time to develop. But unlike Love, that time to develop for Ward will likely come via trial by fire, on the field, probably starting week 1 as a rookie, as opposed to sitting and waiting his turn like Jordan Love did. But again, if Cam Ward can clean up that footwork and some of the decision-making inconsistencies, he could be a Burrow-esque leader early on. I do think the Titans will make Ward their franchise quarterback. Ward shares traits with all three of these quarterbacks I've been talking about. Guess what? The thing that really ties all of this together, the decision makers in Tennessee's front office just so happen to be very familiar with these three guys I've been comparing Cam Ward to as well. Mike Borgonzi, the Titans' new general manager, helped identify Patrick Mahomes as the franchise quarterback in Kansas City. Chad Brinker, the Titans' president of football operations, was part of the team in Green Bay that scouted and selected Jordan Love years before they actually needed a new franchise quarterback. And Brian Callahan, the Titans' second-year head coach, was obviously Cincinnati's offensive coordinator when they fell into the fortunate position of picking number 1 overall in the 2020 draft when Joe Burrow was the clear top prospect. There's a lot of similarities there. Zach Taylor was coming off his first year in Cincinnati. It was a disastrous season. They didn't have a quarterback. They fell into the number 1 pick. They selected Joe Burrow, and the franchise changed forever. Can the Titans get lucky with Cam Ward falling into a similar position after a disastrous first year under Brian Callahan, picking first overall, and now with the opportunity to select Cam Ward? Look, if these guys see what I've seen, there is no doubt in my mind that they're salivating at the potential Ward carries with him when you consider the similarities to these quarterbacks that each of these decision makers was a part of drafting for their previous teams. So there you have it. Cam Ward versus Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love, and Joe Burrow. He's got Mahomes' playmaking ability, Jordan Love's upside, flashes of Burrow's clutch gene, but he's also still his own player with room to grow. What do you think? Am I crazy for making this lofty comparison? Look, I know I am. You don't have to tell me I am. Of course, I will admit, of course there's a chance that Ward will never live up to his draft billing. But let me know your thoughts anyway by dropping them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. We've got tons more draft content coming your way with the Music City Audible podcast, hosted by myself and my co-host Justin Mello. So that's it. Until next time, y'all stay safe out there and tighten up.